It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and let's have a look at Eastern Eyre football. Another, surprising bunch of finals, I guess we could say. We've had a few surprises throughout the grades in this final series so far, and they continued on Saturday. Jared Sampson was there to take it all in, and he joins me on the line. How are you, Jared?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, interesting weekend. It's, might not have got the tips right last weekend, but it sort of alluded to that we weren't exactly confident with our tip either.
No, that's very true, and it's nice to see. This is a competition that traditionally over recent years has been pretty ABC, not so much this year. Obviously, your boys, Centrally United, added some extra zip to the comp, but alongside of that, we've had an improved Ports, and wow, what a successful preliminary final day it was for them. We'll get to their successes soon, but started off with the junior Colts. They weren't successful here, Ports. It was Kimba Districts 3-7-25, beating Ports 1-6 through to a grand final. Sambo?
It's best two teams in the junior Colts are playing this weekend, mate. Kimba and Eastern Rangers have been stand out all year, and results sort of went that way. Saturday with Kimba having a pretty comfortable win in the end. So typical coastal day. The breeze was up early, blowing down the hill, but good game of footy all the same.
Yes, indeed. It was Jackson Yates and Ockie Scott doing the damage on the scoreboard for Kimba Districts. They were named the best, along with Eats and Hissy as well. Vanderlua, some pretty famous Kimba names there. For Ports, Shellkirk booted their only goal. Hitch, Peters, Johnson and Masters named in their best. We'll move on to the senior Colts now, and here's an interesting game. We weren't really sure which way this was going to fall, but Ports in the end got the job done. 8-7-55 against Cal, 7-6-48, just the 7 points in it. Cal stormed home, but it was too little too late for them, mate.
Ports obviously opened the game up with the breeze early and made the most of it, and then kicking into it in the second quarter, just got on top and outscored Cal. So it was all on the line in the last quarter. It looked like it was going to come right down to the wire, and Cal come home with a wet sail in the last 5 minutes, but just left all the work a bit too late, unfortunately. So, Ports, they've been playing some good footy through the finals, much like their seniors, and are full of confidence. So they'll head into next weekend, I'd say, pretty confident they can take it up to the Rangers side and push them all the way, particularly with Ashton Hartwood's in exceptional form. They just look like they gel really well as a team. So Cow, I'm sure, while disappointed in the result, they've had a pretty good year in a very even comp. So, disappointing as always, but at the same token, should be proud of the effort they put in this year.
Tommy Turner booted 5 goals for Ports, probably along with Hartwig, though, with the difference between the two sides. Frost booted 4 for Cal. Turner, Crittenden, Cook and Harding the best for Cal. For Ports, it was Lewis, Hartwig, Hitch and Boothby named in their best. And the successes, well, for Ports, they keep on coming. We'll talk about them in a minute. But first of all, in the B grade preliminary final, it was Eastern Rangers to get another shot at it. They were easy winners in the end, 9-12-66, Cal 2-3-15. So the Rangers will get another shot at Ports.
They obviously smarting from the week before, and they just came out all guns blazing. This game looked over from pretty well 10 minutes in, mate. So Rangers kicked into the breeze to start the game, and then for the second quarter they just took complete control. So they're obviously feeling the pain of the week before, and I wouldn't imagine Ports are looking forward to this encounter this weekend. Rangers, they're up and about. There's some good footballers in that B grade side, and they'll be smarting and desperate to make amends.
At this point, we've got Ports through to the Senior Colts and B grade grand final, and in a regular year as the Ports Footy Club, they'd be absolutely delighted with that. But they were playing with house money in the A grade preliminary final pretty much against the Eastern Rangers, who were playing for a chance to play in a grand final on their home deck. Doesn't happen very often, but I tell you what, Ports were playing the role of party poopers and didn't look like it at three-quarter time, but did they storm home 12-8-80 to 8-15-63 after trailing by 29 points at three-quarter time. What a comeback.
Taylor tape for Ports all year. They come home with a wet sail most games. So I goal umpired this game, and I drew the short store and got the win first up. And Rangers absolutely peppered the goals. 4 goals, 9 to open the game. They could have stitched it up at quarter time almost. Second quarter it was Ports. Ports made the most of the breeze, and while they didn't put a lot on the board, they stayed within touch. And third quarter for me is what really set the game up for Ports. They just stifled Rangers, who again 5 points with the breeze that really hurt them. So while 5 goals has felt like a considerable margin at 3/4 time, the momentum had swung and you could feel the change coming. The Ports boys were up and about and with that breeze behind their back and sit up at full 40, had 2 goals to 3/4 time, so it was just built for him in the last quarter, mate. He up and about. They used the breeze exceptionally well, and once they broke the back of the Rangers side, they come home with a rush. So they'll be heading into this weekend full of confidence, and they're a team you wouldn't want to draw on the last game. Definitely up and about, and a quiet belief that they can really take it up to Kimba this weekend. So it should be a cracking game of footy.
It should be, and for the first time in their merged history, the Eastern Rangers will be A-grade spectators on Grand Final day, ironically on their home deck for the first time at Cleve since that storm ripped the roof off the complex and they had to rebuild it. They finally got everything back together and get the Grand Final on their deck, and they're not playing in it.
Yeah, real disappointment for Rangers. They led the comp all year and, fallen at the last hurdle. Injuries have really hit them hard in the last month of footy. Didn't drop one until the last minor round game against Kimba, and unfortunately have dropped 3 in a row and they're straight out. So, disappointing end. Obviously, still got the 2 juniors and the B grade in, but I'm sure they'll be frustrated that it finished this way. So, I think. Yeah, few murmuring of a bit of 2017 about this when Ports came home with a wet sail and took it out. So, I'm sure there'll be some nerves getting around leading up to this weekend amongst the Kimba crowd.
Well, you'd only be human if that was the case. But let's have a look at Grand Final day. It will be at Cleve, and you're right, there will still be plenty of blue and white getting around the oval because the Eastern Rangers will have 3 teams represented Grand Final day, as will Ports, which is, I'd tell you what, that's a fantastic result for that footy club.
Absolutely, mate. They've had an absolutely fantastic year for a club that a couple of years ago appeared externally to be struggling. And I think there's a lot of optimism down there. They've got a great group of young kids coming through, and even in their senior ranks, there's a lot of youth and depth there. So they can keep their nucleus together. They're quite strong on the footy front. So the year like this really builds your club, and hopefully they can keep that, regardless of any results on the weekend. Hopefully they can keep that momentum going and really grow and build from that. With the uncertainty we have with footy on EP, it's great to see a club like them really having a good season.
Let's have a look at the grand finals at Cleve. The Eastern Rangers taking on Kimba Districts in the Junior Colts, traditional rivals at it again. This should be a beauty.
Absolutely. As we've touched on, 2 standout sides all year. So Rangers went in after the second semi, but a nice tight game. So I'd expect if the wind can stop playing havoc during our finals and we can get a nice start Cleve on Saturday, this will be a really entertaining game of footy to start the day. So Rangers obviously head in deserving favourites, and to me they're the team to beat. So I'll be backing them to get the win on Saturday and kick off Rangers with a good start.
Yep. Well, they'll start favourites in the Senior Colts Grand Final as well. They finished top at the end of the minor round. Ports, though, a great performance against Cal last week, and if they can keep the momentum going on, they could trouble the Rangers, but the Rangers should win.
Ports will push them, I think. They play a real good team brand of footy. Rangers, while they've been sitting top all year, we've found if you can get on top of them, it can sort of break their team apart a bit. So, I'd say Ports will be confident they can take it up to them. And for me, watching through the finals, I'd be backing them to push them all the way. And if they can feed the ball in and get their forwards on on the board early, I reckon we might have an upset here and Ports will get over the line.
The Eastern Rangers in the reserves again, taking on Ports. Now, they were undefeated up until the second semi-final, the Rangers, when Ports shocked them. But they'll see them coming this time around, and with Ports having their A-grade in as well, and the Rangers not, almost the shoes on the other foot here for what we normally see in the reserves grand final.
Absolutely, mate. So, yeah, Ports don't have the luxury of being able to drop a couple back like Rangers. Not that they have a lot that will come back in. They've got a lot of depth in that club, and their B-grade side's pretty solid as it is. And unfortunately for the Ports boys, I think that win in that second semi might have poked the bear, and Rangers will be smarting from that still. And yeah, I'd say they'll come out pretty fired up on the weekend, and that I'm backing them for a win, and I think they'll be pretty confident they'll take it out.
And then the A-grade grand final. This will be a very, very interesting game of football. Kimba Districts, they missed out on the minor premiership. They won't care about that now. They're playing for the big prize. And Ports have come from third to make the grand final. They're playing, as I said earlier on, with house money at the moment, Ports. So there's nothing much for them to lose. And I'll tell you what, as far as Kimba Districts go, this is a side that can blow you out of the water in 10 minutes of footy, Ports. So they'd be a bit nervous, I reckon.
Absolutely, mate. Ports coming in with pretty well a clean bill of health. So, yeah, while the rest of us have sort of got to the latter end of the year with injuries hanging over a few, they've come good at the right time of year. So, a confident team. It'll be very important for Kimba that they put them away early. If Ports are still within a sniff at three-quarter time, there'll be a lot of nerves around the Tiger camp, I'd imagine. So, yeah, this game will be set up in the first half. If Kimba can get on top of it early and control the game, then it's theirs to win. But, yeah, they definitely want to have Ports put away by three-quarter time. And so on the weekend, 5 goals, well, it might seem a significant advantage. That doesn't faze the Ports boys. They got confidence that they can push it all the way to the end. So, Kimba, obviously deserving favourites with the footy they've played this year. But, yeah, there's a good chance we could see an upset if Ports can continue the momentum of the last few weeks.
Tommy Davies in good nick. For Kimba, obviously the usual suspects will be at it again. Jesse Kemp, will he get up and play, you think? I'd imagine he'd be in, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's a tough call to make, isn't it? So he's invaluable to that side. He adds 5 goals to a side, Kempy. So, yeah, it's a bit of a flip of the coin. Do you risk it and open up to injury again? Or you've also got to consider the boys that have filled the hole for the last few weeks or a majority of the year for that. Obviously, he's missed a lot of footy. So, yeah, I know we all love to win grand finals and it's all on the line. But, yeah, do you take a long-term view and reward the guys that have actually got you there?
Yeah.
So, yeah, challenging call for the coach there. Obviously, he's invaluable to the team, but they've shown throughout the majority of the year that they can do it without him. So, yeah, I'd be quite happy not to have Tipper's role this weekend when it comes to picking the team on a Thursday night.
Well, and a couple of boys that'll be giving their opposing coaches headaches in the goal square for each side. Sid Masters, who can just rip your heart out in a quarter of footy, as he proved on the weekend. And then, of course, you've got Berger Fitzgerald down the other end for the Tigers, who's been doing it for, well, a couple of decades now. So if either of those two boys get a hold of their opposition for 10 minutes, the game could be taken away.
Absolutely, mate. The two best forwards in our comp. So, yeah, the Kimber have done a good job of holding Sid all year. So, yeah, Berger gets on to half a dozen most weeks. Yeah, I think that'll be what decides the game. If they can lock Sid out of the game and only keep him to a couple, then they've done their job. But if Sid gets on a roll and Brycey and Tommy Davey in the middle can give him good delivery, even big Bobby Rack, that'll go a long way to them being in the game. So Sid within 55 metres, mate, he doesn't miss too many. So, yeah, whoever has the forward that comes out with half a dozen at the end of the day will probably be the one holding the cup.
Should be a cracking game of football, that one. At Cleve, grand final day for Eastern Eyre football. Before we go, medal counts. There was a couple of them through the week, wasn't there?
Yeah, so we had our junior counts last Saturday after the game at Cow. So, The Danny Horgan Junior Colt medal was taken out by Cooper Allen of Rangers, and exceptional season by Cooper. I think he polled 3 votes in every game he played. So, wow. And his older brother obviously broke his leg during the year. So, very talented family and very deserving winner. We had young Rowie Ryan, one of the lads from Nungies, come down. We're stoked to see him. He come third in the medal. So, great year, great reward for him. So, a lot of excitement around for the boys. It's a big weekend when you see the junior medal count, and great to see them celebrated. Then with the Thegett family senior Colts medal, we spoke about him earlier in the show. Ashton Hartwig from Ports, a very deserving winner. So he took it out by a few votes from Zane Credendon and from Eastern Rangers, and Jacob Ryan from us. So be interesting to see the match up with Ashton and Zane this weekend. They'll go head to head. But Jacob Ryan for us, again, he's still got another year in the Colts and he's had an exceptional season. So great reward for effort for all the young fellas.
Fantastic stuff. All right, that's where we'll leave it, Jared, for today. All the best to everyone. Grand final day at Cleve on the weekend. And Jared, will catch up with you next week to find out all about how the day went.
Absolutely, mate. I probably should touch on the male medalist too, mate. Riley Maitland from Kimba. He's gone back-to-back in the male medal. So, outstanding season. He won it by a country mile. He's, really, really enjoyed watching him play footy. Probably not so much playing against him, but looking forward to seeing him on the weekend and seeing what he fronts up. He performs on every stage. So, he's had an outstanding season, a great Mortlock Carnival, went across to EP, played some exceptional footy there, so very deserving and humble winner. He's, you never know. If he puts in a performance like he has all year, he might have a premiership and a best on medal to go with it. You never know.
You get the 3 medals in the sock drawer in the 1 year. You've had a pretty good season, but when was the male medal count held, mate?
So we held that at Tyne on Sunday, mate. Yep. So had a good crowd. Every club was well represented. Had about 100 people there, and fantastic day. Aaron put a pig on for the boys, and I think everyone enjoyed the day. Just to sit back and relax and reflect on what has been a challenging year with COVID, but great to see some individuals rewarded for a fantastic season.
Spot on. Well, the season will come to its conclusion this weekend. Sambo, we'll catch you next week, mate.
Sounds good, mate. We'll catch you next week.